Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. Links in the description to that. You can join the community, share ideas there, chat with other traders, chat with myself as well, and of course join the community if you are looking to do so. Free to join, link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well this Friday. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. As always, guys, I will go through the USD side of things first. We're going to go through the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver, probably some indices as well. Of course, any particular requests that you do want to see, let me know as well. Drop it in the chat. Any particular time frames as well, let me know. Drop it in the chat. But first things first, as always, taking a look at the dollar. So we have seen some strength. Last time we spoke, I believe we were trading Thursday, yeah, around here. So price was still kind of within this range, and it looked like we're seeing some momentum, but we haven't really broken for any structures, any major highs yet, which we have since gone and done, but nothing significant. Now we have broken through the high, again indicating that okay, momentum is coming back from a buyer's standpoint. But I still want to see a lot more upside. I still want to see a lot more upside for the dollar. I'm not quite convinced that the market is now ready to sell. It could be, but I still want to see more upside before I do entertain any short ideas. Again, same as I spoke last week and the week before. These are really the areas which I would like to see the dollar get to before we do start speaking about some shorts. And of course, targets will be back at the low and probably a lot further as well. But it is a corrective pullback. It is kind of slow and corrective, which is again a key thing I'm looking for how pullbacks form, because if it's nice and slow, there's a good chance that we are going to form a top somewhere and continue back lower. So that's the key thing I'm looking for, and we are nice and corrective. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that price has to come back to these areas before we do continue. Price potentially could sell off at any point, and we could see a continuation from there. But the market isn't quite stretched enough. It isn't quite overbought enough for me to be looking to take any trades yet, especially when we still are roughly trading in areas of support here in the higher time frames. Just taking this zone across here at 99.7. Drop back to the 4-hour chart, you can kind of see we're still kind of fluctuating at that area. So I want price to really pull away from that before I start looking for some shorts, particularly as a swing trader when I'm looking to hold trades for a few days, hopefully potentially a couple of weeks if things go very well. So yeah, I don't want to be holding positions directly into support like that. Therefore, I'm still going to be waiting for price to retrace a lot more. But the bias is still the same, still looking for more downside. But the areas I'm interested in, 101.5, 103.5 are still looking good, and I think price still has a good chance of getting there. Euro USD, same situation. Nice momentum, yes, day to the downside. We've closed pretty strongly bullish this morning, but doesn't really mean too much to me. I still do expect more downside here for Euro. We've kind of broken through this level of support, which held price pretty well for the past few days. We finally cracked that. And I do think we can continue to sell off. I don't think the market is ready yet to see some upside. Again, judging on the weekly chart, where we're trading at major highs here, I don't think price is likely going to continue, especially with this big aggressive wick there to the upside. I do think we can see a bit more of a flush to the downside before price potentially does continue higher. So for me, for Euro USD, again, not the best place to be looking to buy it. As a result, still waiting for more downside. There might be some nice short opportunities in the lower time frames. Perhaps as we approach back again this consolidation, this might potentially invite some sellers to join the party, and perhaps another low high, something like that. And we might see that as continuation, still looking for a push back into these areas. So in my expectation, there is still room to the downside. So a decent pullback on a low time frame, perhaps some entries on the hourly chart, maybe even lower, could present some nice risk reward opportunities for a pushback down to 1.11. I'm still looking at this area here as well as a potential area for a buy too. So in my book, Euro still has a decent amount of room to potentially fall into. I'm not quite keen on the buys just yet. Again, I like how we're moving. It's nice and corrective. It's not like we're falling off a cliff really aggressive. We're nice and slow, which means, again, I'm expecting us to kick back bullish at some point, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. So that's still very much the plan there for euro, same as pretty much the dollar, but inverse. Pound USD, same situation pretty much as well. Again, it looks like we're forming that head and shoulder pattern. So you got your left over there, your head, your right shoulder. It looks like from a weekly standpoint, the market's having a lot of trouble trying to sustain this level of resistance here. You can see 1, 2, 3 wicks into that area. I know the current weekly candle still hasn't closed yet, so technically speaking, yeah, it can still look different by the end of the week. But again, we only got 11 hours before that weekly candle closes, so even if it does push back up a bit, I'm not expecting it to fill the whole wick. So pretty much we got 3 aggressive wicks there to the upside. So again, next week, I think there's a good chance we do have a bit of a drop there. I think it's going to take a lot of energy for price to go and break this to the upside next week. Of course, anything can happen, but in terms of the likelihood, I would say a pushback down looks a bit likely. So I would expect pound USD to fall. We've got a nice head and shoulder pattern on the 4-hour chart, starting to break through some key lows here as well. So again, looking for another lower high for a drop to the downside. But again, still very bullish on pounds. So as we start to push into these areas, this is where I'm starting to look for buying opportunities again to see if I can take pound to the upside. Same situation as euro. Want price to come to me back to some more healthy areas for some buys. Then we can speak about taking price back up again. But at the moment, we are still really struggling at resistance. So I think if anything, there might be some nice shorts to look into. We spoke about some shorts there yesterday. Nice move. Perhaps we might see another rally before falling. But yeah, still looking for a lot more downside there for pound before buying. Dollar CAD, again, same situation. Lovely break to the upside. We had this descending channel, which was keeping price in this kind of corrective format for a while. Now we eventually broke through that lovely breakout this week, and I do expect more upside. I'm still long-term bearish on dollar CAD. My expectation is still, I'm looking for this move to continue. We had the high over here, lovely drop, creating a new low, another lower high, expecting this now to be the new low. So looking for some upside for the next lower high, and again, another continuation. A couple areas I'm looking at. Support there will be taken as resistance over there, hopefully. And of course, support here as well at 1.405. So 1.405, 1.415, 2 areas that look really, really good to me for potential shorts. Of course, still got a while away. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Still got a while away before price actually does get there. So, that could still take potentially another week's worth of price action to actually go and hit those levels. But again, happy to wait. We're here to take good opportunities, which we're planning for, not just because we're bored. So yeah, we'll wait to see if we can get that. There might be some continuation opportunities for the buy. So perhaps a pullback, retest the prior high. That could be a nice trade to potentially trade the swing if that's what you're looking for. I think that would be a nice opportunity on perhaps like an hourly or a 30-minute chart for some entry. So I would keep an eye on that if you are bullish. But as a bear, I still want to see higher prices before I do start looking to short again. Aussie dollar, nice move to the downside again. Looks like we're starting to see some commitment to the downside finally. But again, same situation as the past few weeks, looking for a push down simply in expectation that there will be a higher low for us to continue a lot higher. I want price to kind of take out these wicks here because that's kind of where people have been buying, taking price higher. If we can flush the downside, take out those lows, then perhaps put a higher low in, and then potentially that could be the move that gives us the swing. So that's kind of really what I'm looking for Aussie dollar. Yeah, I mean, a push to 0.62 would be great. I'm basically just looking for anywhere between 0.63, 0.62. This is kind of my area of interest for Aussie dollar. If we can get to these prices, start to reject, double bottom, see some wicks, I'll be looking for some entries and targets back to highs and hopefully a little bit further as well. But again, probably still a few days away from actually getting that set up. In terms of shorts, I'm not really a fan of shorting Aussie dollar right now. We're coming back into support here on our left. I wouldn't really be looking to short. If you're looking to try and take advantage of USD strength, I think dollar CAD's a better trade. Euro USD is a better trade. Pound USD is a better trade because we're not coming back into some major support below us. As the USD, I believe we've had that double top, and yeah, price looks like it's just about to take out this low here. So again, USD, same situation as Aussie dollar. Very bullish on this one, massive swing to the upside. All I've been looking for is just a pullback of this bullish leg. So perhaps now we're going to get it. And yeah, if things look good there, I'll take it to the upside, back to highs, so on and so forth. So again, just playing the waiting game pretty much, waiting for price to come to me before I start look to buy. I suppose we're at support at the moment, so maybe people will be interested in taking some longs, but I do think price is likely to break through this support. I know we had a big wick there a few candles ago, but I do think price is likely to break to the downside anyway. So with the USD, 0.582 really is the main area of interest, waiting for price to get there, and then I'll see what we get, and if things look good, to take some longs. And of course, targets back to the swing high at 0.6, roughly, 0.602. So that's the plan there with USD as well. In terms of gold, this one looked pretty bearish yesterday. Had another drop to the downside. I was talking about this area here for some buys. I did mention that to be careful because we might push up and then start to sell off from this area if we start to put a lower high in. I was expecting a deeper move, to be honest, but we just about tapped that low before continuing to the downside. In terms of my next expectation for gold, now I'm kind of overall still pretty bullish. It hasn't really come back to an area which interests me. Of course, we had the range here which price respected last week. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, last week. I think that's still probably the better place for a buy if price can push back into that low. Looks like we're respecting some support here on the left. But again, nothing really significant in terms. I wouldn't necessarily start plotting for some longs here. I don't think this is the best place to be looking for a big swing for gold. There's some resistance there. If price was to get there again, I wouldn't be surprised if we sell off as well. So really for gold, price action isn't looking great. The main takeaway is that we're still in a very confident uptrend, so buys still look very good. In terms of positioning for that long-term uptrend, I want price to come to these lows because you can get a safer stop loss, maximize the risk reward. It just makes a lot more sense trying to enter in areas like those and potentially even a retest of the high there as well. So gold, not really a fan of the price action here. I'd personally stay away. But if you can start to attack the lows here again at 32.20 or 31.60, those highs there, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy. And yeah, potentially could still see that swing back to all-time highs and further. So I'm overly still bullish on gold, but do want to see lower prices. And then, of course, we've got our silver, which, again, still just very, very sloppy price action. Yes, kind of still in an overall uptrend, so I'm still pretty bullish on silver. I do think highs over there will be likely to be taken out. But I'm just not seeing a good opportunity to buy it unless we were to have a push down, perhaps into this low here, even back into this area here, which has proven to be a really strong level of support. I wouldn't even mind taking some buys off that. But yeah, altogether, silver still looking for a swing to the upside, but I want to push down away from this bearish territory here. This is where supply is lurking. Sellers want to jump into the market around this area. So as a buyer, doesn't make too much sense me looking to buy silver at these prices. Even if I think price is going to break through, I'd rather just wait for a safer and better entry to take the trade rather than trying to force things. So yeah, silver waiting for a push down. Whether we get it or not, I have no idea. Looking at the 4-hour chart, looks very, very messy right now as well. So yeah, not really too keen on trading silver just yet. If we can get something like this, fantastic. Otherwise, I think I'll just let silver do its thing and focus elsewhere. Okay. What's up, DT? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What is up, Tony Gold? What's that? MNQ. What's MNQ? But yeah, I will take a look. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Amir, morning. Hope you're well. The markets are quite different this week. What do you mean they're quite different? I'm not too sure what you mean by that, Amir. Markets are markets. Yeah, I haven't really, I haven't noticed anything different this week, I would say. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. What's up, Ivan? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. CS Integrated, long now, small position, TP 101.25. Okay, long on DXY, nice. Today only will close even if TP not met. Fair enough. I suppose you don't want to look to hold over the weekend. Makes sense. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the dollar as well still. I do think there's more upside, especially with the breakout we've seen. So I do second that opinion. But yeah, if it's an intraday trade, again, you don't really have much incentive to hold over the weekend, then I fully understand that as well. Ahmed, UJ 1 hour time frame, we'll take a look, no problem. What is up, Tom? I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Exclusive Forex, good morning. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at BTC. Interesting things there. Anyway, let me take a look at this MNQ. Oh, is that just basically Nasdaq? Oh, okay. it was the Nasdaq. It's the futures. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so for Nasdaq, it's the same situation as I spoke about yesterday, which is that price is in a very interesting area where potentially we could sell off. Now, again, it depends what you're looking at. It depends, are you looking for an intraday trade? Are you looking for a swing trade? What your scope is for the market. For a swing position, I'm very interested at this area here at 2,300. If price was to break through this, that would make me very bullish on the Nas. And at that point, I don't see much stopping us getting back to the all-time highs pretty much. So if we clear this resistance, clear this area of supply, we'll back above the 200 as well. The 200 is a really good metric in terms of the trend of the major US indices. A lot of people look at it, so it's a good metric to use. If we get above that, get above the high here, so invalidate that bearish swing, yeah, I think the Nasdaq is just going to chug away to the upside, and the plan would just be find pullbacks, find dips in the lower time frames, and probably just ride that up back to the highs pretty much. On the other side of the coin, if price really starts to struggle here, which so far we are doing, we got here once, had a bit of a drop, got there again yesterday, pulled back a little bit. So we're seeing some signs of price slowing down. If we see some really strong selling pressure, maybe a strong bearish engulfing candle or very exaggerated wick at this area, that could be the sign that, okay, price is not going to break the highs here, and we could actually be looking at a big drop here for Nasdaq. So it's kind of a make or break area for me for Nasdaq right now. At the moment, I suppose that's session timings there. At the moment, things look very dry, so I would just be keeping an eye out of those shorts because we're not really seeing much momentum, but that can change very quickly. All it takes is one US session and boom, price is trading through the level. But if we stay corrective like this and maybe see some strong rejection, especially on the daily chart, I probably wouldn't judge it on the 4-hour chart. If you can see a strong push down on the daily, that's what would tell me that price is turning around. But from an intraday perspective, I think things are still bullish. If you're looking for a trade for the day, I would still be pretty bullish. We're still putting in these higher lows. So I would suggest if maybe you can have another drop to the downside into the lows here, I think that'll be a decent place for a buy. And keeping it simple and a push back to the swing high there, 2338. That's the best I've got for Nasdaq at the moment, because intraday bullish trend, so focus on the buys, but being cautious because we know that this could be an area which we do turn around. So not being too confident with the targets. So yeah, I think buys look good. Perhaps another stab to the downside into the low here. That might be a nice buy because I think judging how price is moving now is quite flat. So we might see a bit of a shake to the downside before we push up. So something like that could be a nice buy. And yeah, profits at the high, I think, make the most sense. And then we can see what we do there for the rest of the day, where we come back down, or do we keep pushing? And of course, see what we do early next week as well. But from a higher time frame standpoint, we are in a very, very interesting area where it's make or break for me. I'll take a look at UJ next. No, I'll go through DXY, then UJ, then BTC as well. Trump sneezed with the UK deal, and my reds become green. Nice. That's a good point, because not always when Trump does sneeze doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. If you're in the right direction, it could be a positive sneeze as well. Anyway, we'll go through the DXY, and we'll take a look at UJ and BTC as well. So DXY, I am still looking for a lot more upside for the dollar. Again, the thing is, I am bearish overall. I do think more downside will happen with the dollar. And that could happen at any point. The market could decide it's ready and it could just sell off. But from a trading standpoint, I always want to take a trade from a healthy area where I think, okay, maybe the market's likely to turn around now. And that wouldn't be now. The market is still coming from really big levels of support. This is not the area which I want to keep shorting to. If the market can pull back into this area, or even better, this area, I think that there's a much greater chance we do roll over and see a push down. So therefore, that's where I'm waiting for price to get to. And of course, judging the low time frames as well, we're starting to put some bullish structure on paper now. We're starting to see some higher highs and higher lows. So again, I do think price can continue to the upside. It looks to me that price is coming back to retest the level there. If that can be successful, that can give us a nice rally to the upside. Again, perhaps back to the 101,500 area. I don't expect that to happen this week, but we could see the beginnings of that move. Potentially price starting to wick at the bottom and perhaps a push up. So yeah, I do like the buys there for the dollar. I do think there's more upside to be had with DXY. I don't think we're ready to sell off at all. So yeah, USD strength looks good. We've broken through a pretty key level. Let's see what we can do on the retest of that. If it's successful, should see more upside for potentially the remainder of the day or going into next week anyway. Excuse me. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the dollar. We'll take a look at UJ BTC next. Emmanuel, welcome to the stream. JPY strength is finally here. I'm not too sure with JPY strength if it's finally here or not. I'm looking to see if I can short pound yen. I'm still looking to sell the yen pairs until I see major break of structures, which I'll go through in a moment. I am looking to sell the yen pairs, and I'll go through some examples as well. I am still looking for JPY strength. I wouldn't say it's here yet. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's here yet, but I'm looking to trade that yen strength. So yeah, I'll go through some examples. X-Man, dollar CAD, what's the next move? Okay, I'll take a look at that one as well. First, let me go through dollar yen. So yeah, dollar yen, this one looks like we're seeing some upside. We had a very aggressive reaction off the low here. Price found support there pretty well. Rallied to the upside. Now, again, I'm still very bearish on dollar yen. Long term, I do think price is still likely to crack through this support level. However, I want to see a bit more upside before I do short. I've got a few areas which I'm looking at here. If price can come back to kind of anywhere within this area, that's when I'll start to look to attack the shorts again and look to push price back down. The reason why I'm not selling now is just because price is coming from a very, very big level of support. There'll be a lot of buying activity here. I don't want to go against that. So even if I do expect price to break this level eventually, I've got to make sure that I'm still selling at appropriate levels in reasonable areas where I do expect sellers to be jumping into the market, not buyers. So at the moment, dollar yen has come back to resistance. It's found it a little bit difficult to break through, hence the reaction. In terms of opportunities, I think buys still look good for dollar yen. If we can pull back into a higher like this could be another area which would potentially put another higher low in to push up, because I'm still looking for price to get back to these areas before I start selling. So I mean, from an hourly time frame, of course, hindsight bias, of course, but There was some nice rejection here, and price has seen some downside, so that ship has kind of sailed. The next best bet would be looking for potentially another higher low. We've got one down there, second over there, third, perhaps we get a fourth, and retest the highs there previously as well. So that could be a nice trade. Of course, this is not really a trade for today. It might take us a couple days to actually get there, but I would suggest that will be a nice pace for a reaction. Whether we get the full swing or not, that'll be up to dollar yen, but I think that'll be a smart place for some entries and some stop losses as well. So I like this idea there for dollar yen. Again, for myself, I'm still looking at something like this happening and then some shorts. So that's what I'm waiting for. But again, we might still be a week away before that does happen. But for now, dollar yen hourly chart, I would suggest to wait for a push into 144, and that could provide some nice buying opportunities. As for the sells, you kind of already want to be in a position for that. I think the train has left the station a little bit there. Okay, so we'll take a look at BTC next. So yeah, Bitcoin looking very, very bullish, setting the tone for a lot of cryptocurrencies. I said at this rate, we probably will see Bitcoin push back to the all-time highs, and we're almost there. I don't really see much stopping us for Bitcoin, to be honest. I think we're going to smash right back into the highs and probably see some new highs, to be honest. You got the all-time high there at 109,338 roughly. I think there's a good chance price does rally through that. So Bitcoin, very, very bullish bias. It was a very clean breakout of this descending channel here. Price hasn't really looked back since the breakout. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Hasn't looked back since the breakout. I talked about potentially a retest of this area, but Bitcoin was too bullish for that. We still have a chance of a retest of this range here. So a nice corrective pullback might be a nice opportunity for a trade there. But in terms of direction, I would be very bullish. In terms of targets, back to the all-time highs. And in terms of a location for an entry, the retest of the range looks the most likely and makes the most sense as well. So yeah, Bitcoin very bullish. I would only be looking to buy this one. I don't really see much stopping us getting back to the all-time highs now. So yeah, I would only be looking to buy this. But Bitcoin looking very, very bullish. Okay, so I'll go through dollar CAD. In Cateco, hope I'm saying that correctly. S&P 500, yes, I'll take a look as well. DT, what's up? So do you include retail and COT data at all? Because even though I'm mostly technical, I do include those two fundamental factors. If not, then why? Just curious. Yeah, I don't really look at retail or COT data, primarily because with my with the way I trade, I'm basically looking for areas where I know there's sellers or I know there's buyers. For example, pound yen, where I'm looking to short right now, I know there's sellers because I can just see on the chart previously what happened when we're here. We had a very strong move to the downside. So I don't really need to see what other people are doing because I already know what the market has done here previously. You could argue that COT data provides some information in terms of what the institutions are doing. And yeah, I think from that regard, you can definitely argue that point. But from a retail side of things, I don't really see much use in that because on average, probably retail traders, they're not as wrong as you think they are in terms of direction. I'd probably say maybe 60-40. But primarily, I can tell when retail traders are very short or very long on something. When a market's very overextended, like it's gone up for a while, majority of retail traders are looking to short that to call the top, and vice versa. When it's gone down for a while, majority of retail traders are looking to buy it to go back up again. So I already know what the retail traders are doing. But on average, if you look at retail trades on average in terms of direction, they're actually not that wrong as well. They'll because everything's 50-50 pretty much. So they're not going to be overwhelmingly wrong because then it's just simple just to go against retail traders and you'd be very, very profitable. That isn't the case. So my focus is primarily on the price action. That gives me all I need in terms of where I want to short, why I want to short, and where I want to short to. COT data, I can kind of make some sense there, but I've looked at it in the past. It hasn't really benefited me before. So yeah, I don't really see much use in it from that perspective. Maybe I do look at it again in the future and potentially add it to my trading, but I've used it before, hasn't really benefited me much, so I just didn't really continue with it. And as for retail sentiment, I can kind of see what the retail traders are doing just by looking at the chart. And even then, they don't really provide too much benefit to my trading as well. Because if it was just go against what the retail traders are doing, well, then it'd be very, very easy to be profitable, and that isn't the case. So yeah, I just don't see much use in it. That's why I'm not saying they're not useful. I just don't see as much use as I think it would be enough to benefit me. So yeah, that's kind of why. In terms of dollar CAD, okay, I'll go through dollar CAD. We'll go through some indices. Ivan, New Zealand future preparing for another bearish rally. I think bullish pullback on daily time frame is coming to an end. I'm still looking to buy New Zealand CHF. It could be the case. I want the structure to break first, just because we're coming from all-time lows. I mean, I'll go in a bit more detail for you in a moment. But let me go through dollar CAD and gold and S&P 500. So yeah, dollar CAD. What's next for dollar CAD? Well, I'm looking at some more upside before I look to sell it again. I'm not really interested in the buys. To be honest, I'm only really looking to short dollar CAD because again, I'm more trying to stay in tune with the bigger swings of the market. This is one swing. This is a second swing. And I'm trying to catch the third swing out of that move. So I'm anticipating more upside for us to get back into some of these areas before we do later sell off again. So now that we have had a pretty confident breakout of this descending channel, now my expectation is some pullbacks and some more upside. So if you're looking for some opportunities for dollar CAD, I'll be keeping a close eye on the retest of these highs. Perhaps some entries on like the hourly chart or 30-minute chart could look good. Even a retest of this area here looks pretty good as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking next for dollar CAD. We've been very overbought for a while. Now the market's finally had a push to the upside. Now I would suggest a bit of a pullback and a continuation will make the most sense. And then we can start speaking about some break and retest of these areas, 1.405, maybe a break and retest of this area, 1.415 for some shorts to take dollar CAD back down again. But we're still probably about a week away from that actually happening. So staying patient, but those are the levels which I'm looking to get involved with for dollar CAD shorts. But as of right now, the buys make the most sense. In terms of gold, as I suggested, I'm not really the biggest fan of the price action for gold. It's kind of just a bit messy. But the biggest takeaway is that the trend is still very much bullish. There's no kind of major signs of reversal just yet. We're still persistent with these higher lows. We're still seeing overly bullish momentum in the market right now. So I would still have that bullish bias. But in terms of where I'd want to pick up some longs from, it would either be back down at these lows here, where we had this lovely range here, big rally to the upside. Price since then came back to tap that same area, nice reaction. I think that could again act as a nice level of support. Or just below it, we do have this swing high here, which again could be a nice place for a buy. So really, I want to see price come back down to some levels where I know there's a good chance of a reaction. Buying in and around here, I think is a bit of a guessing game right now with gold. There's some minor levels of support and resistance, and price just fluctuating between the two. In terms of just the location, I think it's a bit off. But if we can see a pushback down to some of these areas, of course, see some healthy rejection, I think that'll be a smart place for a long. And the risk reward is much better off. If we do see another swing back to all-time highs, you're looking at some really big trades there with gold. So really for me, 32.25, 31.60 are the areas I'm looking at and seeing if we can push higher from. In terms of the S&P 500, again, another indice which is at a critical area where things could really turn around. This is the 200 moving average, which again is a very, very probably underrated technical tool, especially when it comes to the indices, especially when it comes to S&P 500, because a lot of people look at it. So if price does manage to climb back above it, well, that's a very, very bullish signal to me. At that point, I do think there's a good chance price just makes its way back to the all-time highs. The reason why I say we're coming to a very critical zone right now is because this is the high which created this low. This is our last swing. If price is going to break through this, well, that to me is a very bullish signal, because not only are we breaking structure, but we're also breaking above the 200. So at that point, I should be expecting pullbacks, higher lows and higher highs, all the way back to the swing high, the all-time high. If price gets here and starts to stall, starts to see some really strong rejection, perhaps a strong bearish engulfing candle coming into play, well, the chance of us forming a lower high is now a lot higher, and we could be seeing something like that happen, especially if we do reject the 200 as well. So this is a make or break area for me for the S&P. So far, getting to the lower time frame, price is still very corrective, so I would still keep a very close eye out. If we do see that momentum, that could be a great chance to find some shorts. I wouldn't really be looking to buy it, to be honest. It's very corrective, coming back into a huge area of supply. I don't think the buys make the most sense right now, unless you're right on the lower time frames, like 15, 5 minute, then yeah, maybe you can find some buys for a session. But apart from that, this is definitely where, if we are going to sell off, this is where I expect us to sell off from. So be very, very cautious now with S&P and NAS as well. Until we see signs of price breaking through, then yeah, fair enough. We'll probably be bullish from then on afterwards. So yeah, that's kind of my take there on S&P and gold. We'll go through New Zealand CHF next. 0.497 has been respected twice, forming kind of double top. Okay, I know what you mean. So yeah, potentially that could be the case with New Zealand CHF. The only reason why I'm not really interested in shorting it again is because we're coming from the all-time lows. If this was not all-time lows, then I would be all for it. But every time the market does pinch these all-time lows, it does tend to correct back to the upside pretty aggressively. So my expectation of the bigger move for New Zealand CHF will be a push to the upside. Now, here's the thing. That probably will be the case, but we might still drop one more time before that happens. So that could be the case there with New Zealand CHF. But because of the fact that we are in all-time lows, I'm more fixated with the buys. So I'm actually looking to see what we can do at this level of support. If I see a healthy enough rejection, I'll be looking for some entries and try and take New Zealand CHF to the upside. It could be a double top that has already formed and now price is ready to sell off from there. That could be the case, but because of where we're coming from, I'm not interested to sell it right now. If this was price, had a big enough pullback, maybe taking out some of these highs, seen some better development, and now we're going to push back down again, then yeah, I'd be looking to sell it. But because of where we're coming from, I'm not as interested. But of course, I could be wrong. Perhaps we do see another swing. What I want to see happen is price start to take out some of these lows. This is the last major swing low which created that high. If price can sell off and take out that structure with it as well, then of course I'll stand corrected. At that point, we're probably going to see New Zealand CHF continue to fall and probably push back to the all-time lows and see some new lows. And perhaps that will then be the leg that does give us the bigger move higher. But yeah, because of where we're coming from, I'm not really keen on selling New Zealand CHF, or pretty much any of the CHF pairs, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not really keen. They've already had a massive drops. I think there's still more upside to be had with them. Maybe I'm a bit early for that bias. We'll have to wait and see, but that's kind of where I'm personally situated. But the sells make sense equally as well. I can see the logic here. Price respect to the high very well there. That could be a double top with that reaction. Again, ideally kind of already want to be in a trade from that double top, so you can have a stop loss up there. If you're looking to try and take some shorts now, you probably want to see price break through that area anyway, and then look for some retest to plot an entry on a retest somewhere. Trying to short now, I wouldn't say you would find a great place for a stop loss, and if your stop loss is up there, that will skew your risk reward quite a lot as well, which is not necessarily nothing wrong. You don't have to be looking for a big risk reward every trade, but you probably could have had a little bit better, but again, that's down to personal style. But yeah, for New Zealand CHF, if we are going to continue to sell, I would wait for a break of that structure before we continue. But personally, I'm still looking to buy. So I'm looking to see what we can do at this area. If things look good, I will take some longs. Same thing with Aussie CHF as well. I was taking out a break even for this one early in the week. I had the entry over here, price pushed down, and did take me out the trade. But again, if I do get another entry, perhaps another double bottom here, I will be looking for an entry to take that higher. Aussie CHF to me still pretty consistent with these higher lows. Perhaps another one is forming. If that's the case, that would be great. And then from there, I expect us to push back to highs. I'm still expecting us to rally all the way back to this area here. So in my book, Aussie CHF has still got a long way to go, hence why I still want to buy it. But I've got to be patient. There's one key thing as well, is that we're very corrective on the way up. It's not like we're seeing a lot of momentum, but Aussie CHF typically is not going to see a lot of momentum, especially with the retracement legs as well. They're normally quite corrective. They kind of grind higher, as we can see here. Momentum is with the sellers, but we kind of grind slowly higher, which is kind of what I'm expecting to happen here as well. But we'll wait and see. No problem, Ivan. Happy to help. So yeah, in terms of the yen pairs, so I'm still very bearish on the yen. Well, I say very bearish on the yen pairs. There's only 2 yen pairs which I'm actually eager to sell. Euro yen, I was taking out break even for this one as well. Price did retrace against me and did take me out the position there. So I'm out of that position. Still looking for re-entries. If price does give me another rejection at the high, another significant drop, I will look for a re-entry. As long as price doesn't take out the high here, I remain pretty bearish with Euro Yen. Expanding to the higher time frames. Actually, if I expand to the weekly chart, you can pretty much see we've got this massive head and shoulder pattern, left, head, right shoulder. As long as we can stay true to that, price doesn't break through this kind of area here, then I'm expecting price to sell off back into support. And I'm expecting price to break through that as well. But that's the drop I'm still very eager to trade. And at the moment, again, no kind of sign of that not happening. I know we've gone through this very weird consolidation, but to be honest, I quite like how corrective it is. It shows that momentum is not really sustaining. The fact that we had a very bullish move last week, but it just came straight back down, is a good sign that, okay, buyers are not really being successful trying to push past highs. So if you do see another rejection at the high again, well, I'm expecting price to drop. The only way I stand correct is if price does break out and we do take out the high there, then of course, fair enough. But yeah, for now, still pretty bearish with Euro Yen. I'm looking to see if I can enter Pound Yen because it kind of is giving me that double top vibe right now. I'm looking at the 8-hour chart because the 4-hour chart's not really doing it for me in terms of momentum. We've seen 3 bearish candles there, but not much of a move. So I'm either looking to see if we can push back into the level and respect it again, but with a much stronger reaction. Or perhaps the 8-hour chart, we might continue to fall and start to see some more momentum. I know we've got a slight bearish engulfing candle there, but again, that isn't much to invite me into a trade. I need to see price reject that a little bit more there. So I'm looking to see if we can continue to sell off, maybe show some more momentum, and that could be a nice entry. Stop loss above the high, targets back into the low there, and then perhaps if things go very well, I can look at the low down here as well. But again, the idea is still the same, is that the market is still very consistent with these lower highs. And the expectation is that we're about to form a third lower high here as well to come back down. As long as we don't break through the high here, we stay bearish, or at least I stay bearish. I'm looking for a push down. So yeah, that's really what I'm after with the yen. Regarding the yen pairs, other yen pairs I'm not so attracted to in terms of selling them. Aussie yen, New Zealand yen feels like they've already had some big moves. So I'm not really trying to get there, but pound and euro look good. CAD looks pretty tired at the moment. What's up, follow the trend? Happy Friday, right back at you. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good as well. What's hot on the watch list? Good question. I'll probably say pound yen shorts. Yeah, I'll probably say pound yen shorts is the hottest on the watch list right now, at least for myself anyway. Judging where we are and how price is moving and the market structure I'm seeing, 1, 2, 3. This is potentially a fourth forming. And the reason why I would say it's hot is because it's in a good area. The way we got there is looking good. And also, the risk to reward makes a load of sense. I'm looking at potentially from the highs there, I'm looking at a 1,300 pip move there. So that's what I would say is pretty hot, is that the risk for me is looking definitely worth the reward. And there's a lot of meat on the bone here. If price does rally and takes up the high here, that's when I'll look to put it to one side. But for now, I'm still liking the shorts. Not really seeing an entry just yet. So as I said earlier, if we can push back to resistance, then I would see, and then I'll hope to see a better reaction there, because we kind of had these 3 bearish candles, which don't really mean too much to me in terms of momentum, in terms of rejection. So I kind of want to see price rally back into resistance again. Maybe a nice wick through the high, perhaps take out some earlier stop losses above the high there, and that then can give us a nice flush to the downside. So that might set up for next week. But yeah, really, really nice area here for pound yen. I'll probably say that's the hottest on the block right now for me anyway. Euro yen is still in a nice area. I'll still look for re-entries with that one too. So another rejection of the high, I'll be interested to short. USD pairs are starting to look a lot better. We're seeing some downside, but I need to see a lot more before I can take some buys again. Yeah, the fundamentals have been a bit off as well. Yen has been fluctuating back and forth between a bearish bias and the bullish bias. Again, in terms of my trading, I'm focused on the technicals to derive that bias, especially in terms of market structure. So until I see market structure shift completely, then I'll look to shift as well. But at the moment, we're still kind of within that bearish structure. As long as that still stays true, I'm still looking to sell. But yeah, pound's been a bit off as well. Euro's been very strong, although it's starting to die down a little bit. But the past kind of month, Euro's been very strong. Pound's been strong since the news yesterday, since the interest rate decision. But yeah, I'm still pretty eager to short them. Yeah, technicals are looking great. Setup, yeah, of course. That's what my focus is. Rachel, good morning. Hope you're well. In pound Aussie long, currently in at 2.06308. Okay, we'll have a look. See. Yeah, take up the high and a few early sellers, and then looks good for a sell in that area. Yeah, I definitely agree. If that can happen on GJ, I'll be all over that for a setup. Because risk reward looks good, entry looks good, setup looks good, location looks good, market structure and the higher time frame looks good. It ticks a lot of boxes. And again, you could have all of those things that look good and the trade could still fail, which is again why you manage your risk. But again, when you get setups like that, you just take them. You take them, and you're looking for them to play out over the long run, not necessarily the individual trade, but you know that if you take a setup that looks like this 100 times, the resulting would be profit. And that's all you can do as a trader. So yeah, if I can get a setup like that, a spike through the high there as well, that would be really nice kind of exaggerated wick and a strong close in the 4-hour chart. I think the risk reward looks good. At least the swing back to the low here. I do think we can go a bit further to 180. So that would be a trade I'll be all over. Let's take a look at that pound Aussie position, Rachel. You said you're long from 2.0. 2.06308. Whereabouts is that? 2.6308. So that's roughly about there-ish. Yeah, I mean, looking good, in a bit of profit there. Where's you're wondering if when I should take profit and get out? That's always the question. Where should I get out? What was your original plan for the trade if you had one, Rachel? Where did you say to yourself, I'm going to take some profit if this goes well? Because I think the best way to manage trades is actually just stick to the original plan, to be honest, because that's where you're going to learn as well. Even if maybe your original plan is a bit flawed, at least you can kind of stick to that, practice discipline, and then, okay, look back at your trades and then, okay, maybe I need to change this up, rather than, trying to go along with the flow, which is always just an emotionally charged decision, which is never good. But yeah, I would say where's your take profit? 2.094. 2.094. Okay, that would be roughly about there. I'd imagine maybe your stop loss was underneath here, maybe. So yeah, I think looking good in that position, some of the risk rewards. Again, I would always say respect that target because you had it there for a reason. And you don't kind of want to just, because again, with trading, especially if you look back over your trades, if you recorded your data, it's very rarely you get into a trade and price just goes straight to your take profit like that, which from an emotional standpoint, that's how we want all our trades to go. From entry just straight to target. Price is going to fluctuate, maybe go back into drawdown a little bit, fluctuate a bit more, push up, maybe have a dodgy retracement, but then maybe goes and hits take profit. That's probably how, on average, your trades are going to look. Of course, you'll get some trades that will rally straight into profit, and you'll get some trades that maybe stay at entry for a while, but then they rally to profit or something like that. So you get a mixture of that. You're not going to know the exact path price is going to take. All you have to do as a trader is plot your exits. Why are you going to exit? Whether you're going to use a trading stop loss or exit at a particular level, you have those reasons before you get into the trade. So my best advice is always to respect that. I know, looking at candles like that could be a little bit scary, but that's part of the game there. But yeah, I think the target makes sense. Roughly coming back into resistance supply there. I think that's a smart target, to be honest. Risk reward looks pretty good. Of course, there is a level here which could cause a bit of noise, which is kind of doing right now. But again, you don't really want to be locking in gains right now because I wouldn't say the risk is worth the reward. If your stop loss was here and that was your risk on the position, well, if you're looking to close profits here, you're barely hitting 1R there. So it's going to be difficult to grow your account, grow your equity curve by taking profit so quickly. Of course, there will be some trades where it makes sense to do so, but you want to try and let your trades run. So I would hold on to targets there. Yes, there's a bit of a level in our way. Maybe you can close a small percentage of your profits there just in case we do turn around, but I would try and look for that swing because that's what's going to grow my account and push my trading in the right direction. And that was your target initially as well. So I would always respect that. GJ, we should have a look at GJ. But I can quickly go over it again for you. GJ is kind of in a symmetrical triangle on the daily chart, which could possibly go anyway. Yeah, true. Waiting for a breakout might take a few weeks. True. GJ is kind of having that squeeze as well, which is kind of the daily chart, kind of getting that squeeze there where we could potentially even break that and go to the upside. And that could be the case as well. We're not to know which way price is going to go until actually price makes the move. But all you can do as a trader is just plot your trades, plot your ideas. What's going to shape up what and what's going to lead you to make a decision. Where if price does break to the upside and kind of takes out this trend line here and takes out structure, well, that'll be a very bullish scenario. And at that point, I would also be favoring long opportunities at that point if we were to do something like that. But at the moment, we're still respecting this high, and as long as we still stay respecting that high, I do think we can see a drop. Until that breaks, I will remain bearish. But yeah, that's a good point as well. If we do see price rally to the upside, that will definitely change things up. Elliot Trades, appreciate it. Now please don't disappear. Respect, appreciate it. Well, yeah, I've been streaming for a few years now, so I won't be disappearing, but appreciate it. No problem, Rachel. Hard to forget. Of course, definitely. Definitely hard to set and forget. It's probably, again, I always say that when you're in a trade, that's the most difficult part of trading. You know, when you're not in a trade, you're looking to take a trade. You can still be emotional, but it's always less. When there's money on the table, markets are moving, your trade's fluctuating, maybe in and out of profit, or you got a decent profit floating, but you don't want that to disappear, or you're in loss and you don't want to take the loss. That's always when the most emotion you're going to feel in trading is during the trade. So if you kind of plan things out, stay cool, have a plan of how you're going to tackle that, trust me, trading will be so much easier. Not easy, but just so much easier. Because yeah, once you're in a trade, that's the hardest part of it. Thank you, Eutychus. I'm probably saying your name incorrectly, but really appreciate it, my man. Omar, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Pound USD, of course, we will take a look. I'll go for GJ quickly, but yeah, I will take a look at Pound USD. Rachel, I just keep second guessing because I'm so new. Got to trust the plan, keep my journal. Yeah, and again, that makes perfect sense. If you are new, of course you're going to second guess yourself. If I'm doing something that I've never really done before, I'm starting to learn, I'll be second guessing myself pretty much the whole way through as well. So it makes sense to do that. But again, like you said, journaling is so important because you will continue to second guess yourself until you become confident. And the only way to become confident is to look back at results and say, okay, I can see clear progression here. And the only way you're going to see clear progression is if you record your trades and see what you're doing. And of course, review them as well. That's the only way you can become confident, looking back and seeing progress. And that will give you more confidence when it comes to choosing your trades and managing your trades as well. So keep that journal. That's very important. That's going to come back and pay dividends to you. But again, it's okay to be cautious and just doubtful. But that will go as you gain experience, as it will do if anything. So yeah, GJ, as I said, just looking to short it. Basically, my eyes are fixed on the double top here, so just waiting for another rally and hopefully a strong rejection at the high, and then that would be the entry for my trade. And again, I like this opportunity a lot because the risk reward looks really good. If I can see a swing back to the low, you could be looking at a very big swing trade here, and especially the lows there as well. So the way I see it, the risk is definitely worth the reward. I'm just going to see what type of rejection we can get. That'd probably be a trade more for next week because it's already kind of almost midday Friday. I don't think we'll get the rejection and an entry, especially in the 4-hour chart by the end of the day. So this is probably for Monday, but that's the plan for GJ. In terms of Pound USD, I'm looking for more downside for pound. You can see on the weekly chart, price is having a lot of trouble at the resistance here. This was a prior swing high. Massive drop there, and now price is back there again. You can see a few weeks ago, nice wick to the upside. Last week, nice wick to the upside, and this week, a nice wick to the upside again. So clearly, price is really struggling to break through this level. So what does that show you for potentially next week? Well, I would argue that next week has a very good chance of either putting another wick to the upside or pushing to the downside. So either which way, I think shorts look good because even if the market starts bullish next week, you would anticipate rejection to happen. So shorting, midweek would be good because you'll be expecting the weekly candle to pull back and potentially close bearish. Or as we open up, we might trade sideways for a little bit, might push up a little bit, but then you expect us to potentially drop by the end of the week and probably close bearish. So shorts are looking very good for next week for Pound USD. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, you can see we are forming this kind of head and shoulder pattern there. Left head, right shoulder. There's your neckline. Looks like that's just about breaking through as well. So in terms of a good trade, I would suggest either price continues to fall a little bit further, and then we can look for a retest of this area for a lower high. So 1, 2, and 3, and that would be a nice trade. Or perhaps we pull back a little bit higher kind of got a bit of a trend line here, and perhaps we get an entry up there. But anywhere within here, I would suggest would be a good place for a trade. And yeah, expecting more downside. Now, longer term, I'm actually still pretty bullish for pound. I do think we can still see a lot more upside. But I do want to see a pullback. And again, areas I'm looking at support here at 1.31, and I'm looking at support down here around 1.3. So those are the areas which I'm looking to buy from. But I think first things first, the sells make the most sense. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And then, yeah, hopefully some buys later on. Maybe later next week, or maybe even the week after. But for now, I do think pound USD's still got some more downside to give. Jasper, what's up? Missed the first half an hour. How's your trades doing? Did what you said on oil, little bit run, and it's looking good. Okay, nice, good job. Yeah, the market has taken me out my trades for break even. I was short on euro yen. That price did reverse against me and come back and take me out break even here. So I'm out of that position. But I'm still looking to get back in because I might be sort out break even, but it doesn't mean that the bias is incorrect or not going to happen. It just means that particular trade was a break even. So I'm still looking to short this one. Perhaps a nice double top at the high there. That will interest me. And New Zealand CAD as well, taking out break even there too as well. Was a nice rally, but momentum just didn't really get going. Well, it did get going, just not to my target. But yeah, entered a long here last week. Nice rally. But yeah, just missed out on the highs there, unfortunately. And we have come back against me. But again, that's how you manage your trades as well. And all the time, you're going to see price just continue to rally. Some trades will be a bit annoying and come back and take you at break even. But nothing has changed as well with New Zealand CAD. I might be out of that position, but I am still looking for the buy. So if we can approach this, see another rejection, well, we're back at square one. Are we looking for another trade? Similar entries, similar stop loss, and similar targets as well. So yeah, I'm keen to see if I can get back in Euro Yen, get back in New Zealand CAD. There's a nice area of confluence here. I'm just looking for the continuation of that. If price does break through this, well, I'll back off, because at that point, maybe we're not going to see the move that I'm looking for. But so far, there's nothing to tell me that we're not going to see the rally. So I'm still very interested to buy, but just, yeah, taking out a break even for those two setups. But we'll see if we can get into another position. I'll go through oil because I haven't actually looked at oil since yesterday. Alex, good morning. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at oil, no problem. Sets to die, welcome to the stream. EuroCAD, yes, we will take a look, no problem. So yeah, I haven't actually looked at oil since yesterday. I think you said you were in a long, weren't you? Oh, lovely move to the upside, looking very, very good. Yes. So yeah, I remember yesterday we were talking about your trade. I think you had a position down here and you target here, but you said, should I let it run? And I just said, respect your targets, but you know, if you do have that feeling that you expect price to run, then yeah, look to hold positions to run as well, because that's always a positive thing in trading. You know, it's not negative to let trades to run. Of course, there will be trades that you let run that potentially come back against you. That will happen, of course, but the fact that you're leaving positions to run always opens you up to more profit, which is, again, going to help grow your account. But on the flip side, if you did have a target for the trade, I think you should always respect that, because you don't want to be just holding trades to run out of greed, because then that's a negative aspect of trading. If you had a target here, respect the target, whether you close even just 10% at that area, but at least you ticked off that trade, at least you did the job. But yeah, close a portion of your profit there, so at least you got some profit banked. Then yeah, let the trade run, see how far we can go. There's areas up here we can potentially push into, perhaps the high there as well. But yeah, oil looking really, really good there. Nice momentum. I'm actually still pretty bearish bias on oil though, because we've cracked through this support level. So as long as we stay below that on the higher time frame, I'm actually still quite keen on the sells. If we do get back above that, then I'll rest my case, because at that point, this will then be a massive fake out. And at that point, we're probably looking at something like this for more upside. So I'll be bullish at that point, but we're not there yet. So yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on oil. A couple of weeks ago when we were trading around here, I said keep an eye out for the retest there for the short. We didn't quite see that happen. Maybe now we go and do that. Who knows? But yeah, as we approach this kind of area of supply, I would be cautious. 62, this does look like a nice play for a short. This is where the sellers, I would imagine, to jump back into the market from. Had a brief consolidation here, a big move to the downside. So I would suggest that perhaps some sellers could be looking to get involved and take price down, even if it's just for another retest of this level. That could be a potential move there for oil. So yeah, going forward with oil, I'm still long-term bearish as long as we stay below 66. If that does break, of course, then I'll reinvestigate. But for now, as we approach supply again, I think this is a smart place for a short. I wouldn't be so keen to try and stretch it for new lows, because we're just not really positioned well for that. I think if you can get back up here, then yeah, then I'll look for a big trade, because it makes sense to do so. But I think at least a push back to this area we could probably get, and then we'll go from there. Maybe we find support again and continue higher, or maybe we sell off a cliff. We'll see what price does. But in terms of an area, a smart area for a short, 62, 62.5, 63 even, that kind of area, I would be keeping an eye for a short and for a move down. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with oil. Okay, EuroCAD, yes, we'll take a look. Roadway, does it make sense to still look for shorts in pound USD? Yeah, I would say so. I think there's still room to the downside. I'm still anticipating dollar strength, so I would agree. But of course, I would say wait for a pullback first, though. We don't want to be shorting, especially in FX, after you've already seen a flush to the downside. You want price to now pull back, find some resistance before shorting. Trey Huntley, thoughts on Bitcoin at the moment? Yeah, Bitcoin's looking very bullish. I think we're just on a one-way street back to the all-time highs, really. I don't really see much slowing price down, but we'll have a look at it. I hear you close most of it. Okay, just tested the idea of letting it run. That's good, because that's how you get into that as well. Because again, it's a big psychological game, trading. It's a big psychological game, because you could leave a lot to run, you could leave a little bit to run, but if you leave a lot of the position to run, that's going to make things a little bit more emotional, potentially. Of course, the more you are used to it, the less emotional you're going to be. But certainly if you're new to letting things running and looking for bigger moves in the market, starting off slow is definitely not a bad idea as well. But yeah, because you had that target though, you said 60 was your target, you booked profits there, you did what you said you will do, and the trade played out, so you can pat yourself on the back, and you had the idea that potentially price could run, and you're looking to play into that as well. So I think that's a big positive on that trade, and you can take that into other trades now as well. Okay, so EuroCAD, not really a pair that I've been looking at a lot, to be honest. I like where we're situated, because I do think there's a big drop to be had for EuroCAD, even if it is just to come back and retest some structure around here. I do think there is some downside. You can see on the weekly chart here how many wicks we're getting to the upside. The market is really struggling to sustain prices here at 1.58. Massive wick over there. We did push down for a little bit, push back up, another wick. A decent close last week. Not really anything significant, but again, the wicks are still persistent. So I do think EuroCAD is likely to have a bit of a drop here, at least back to this area where the wicks have collected here. So that's back to 1.545. So I would expect another drop here for EuroCAD. I did speak on yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, that even a retest of this level could be a nice place for a short, because we kind of had this weird head and shoulder pattern here, broke the neckline, and now we're retesting it as well. So we did get another rejection of that level yesterday on Thursday. Nice wick into the level, nice rejection, and I do think price is just consolidating before it does continue. So the way I'm looking at price right now is that we're kind of just chopping around before we do flush the downside, similar to what we did over here. Kind of a slight ascending channel here, consolidation, broke the downside. I'm looking for a repeat of that for another move lower as well. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish in EuroCAD. I think we've hit some heights where it's time to see some downside. The market's been very, very bullish for a while. I struggle to see more upside for EuroCAD, at least without a bigger retracement, and we can look to take advantage of that. So again, it's still a counter trend move, so be cautious. It's not like we're following a nice clean trend here. We're definitely going against the bigger trend, but it makes sense too, because at least now we've got some bearish structure to follow on the 4-hour chart, which makes some sense here. So yeah, looking for another drop back into support. Like I said, I do think we can get to 1.52, but there is a pretty big level of support just below us, so I'll be cautious of that. Looking to book profits there would make sense too. So yeah, EuroCAD, pretty bearish bias. I do think we can see another drop. In terms of entries, you do want to see price push back into resistance again. I wouldn't want to be entering here, especially if a stop loss above the highs there. I think that's very, very risky there for a stop loss. Ideally, when your stop loss to be above the highs here. So another rally to the upside back into resistance, maybe even a spike through the high as well. That would be very nice. Then pull back and get the entry. And then, yeah, that would look good. And then shorts back into the low of the channel. Then potentially back into the low over there as well. So that's how I would look to tackle EuroCAD. But yeah, for pound USD, I do think shorts still look good. As I mentioned, I do think if price can push back into an area like this or a retest of this level, I'd wait for a bigger drop first before looking for the retest, by the way. I wouldn't look for the retest just yet. The breakout's too shallow. Haven't really seen much momentum below either, so I wouldn't look to try and look for a breaking retest now. But if we were to have a bigger pullback, yeah, that would interest me, especially coming to this kind of trendline area, looking for another lower high than a short. So yeah, I still do see room to the upside, to the downside there for pound. I'm still really respecting this level of resistance to the left here. As I mentioned, the weekly chart, a bunch of wicks to the upside. I do think pound has room to drop still. I don't think we're set to rally just yet. So yeah, pound USD, I think it still does make sense to short. I wouldn't short at current price, but as a whole, I do think we can still see more downside. But yeah, for BTC, just onwards and upwards for Bitcoin, really. I don't really see much slowing us down, at least from a technical aspect. There's not a lot in our way for us to keep pushing back to the all-time highs. I've marked them on here at 109,388. I think price just like to keep pushing and go and see some new all-time highs. Go smash into 110, and we'll see where we can go from there. But it's been a very lovely breakout of this descending channel. We had that momentum a couple of weeks back now. I originally said a pullback into this area looked good. Didn't see that. Price was far too bullish for that to happen. We then consolidated for a bit, but again, yesterday's candle, very impressive break to the upside there, and really, really set the tone there for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think more upside is likely. If you're looking for entries, then of course a pullback is kind of necessary. I mean, yeah, you could try and force a buy there, but I feel like that's just not great, especially in terms of risk reward as well. So yeah, a pullback, something like this will look good. Probably find some entries on like the hourly chart even. And then yeah, targets back at highs and probably higher as well. But looking across the board, a lot of cryptocurrencies are seeing a lot of upside. Ethereum looking very, very bullish here. Strong close yesterday, today already seeing some momentum. In the grand scheme of things, it's not really too... I mean, it's a big move, don't get me wrong. It's a really big move for Ethereum, but we are coming right back into resistance here. So I don't know if this is just a big move for price, just to retest resistance and then roll back over again, or just actually Ethereum meaning business and looking to really set the tone for maybe the rest of the year. We'll have to wait and see. There's always a little bit more different when you're analyzing cryptocurrencies, especially the smaller ones. XRP seeing some upside as well. Nice push there. Not as much as Ethereum, but I think Bitcoin is the main thing. You know, as long as BTC stays bullish, gets back to all-time highs, rallies through that, well, I think you're going to see the smaller cryptocurrencies join the party as well. So yeah, I think looking very bullish. I don't see any signs of this one slowing down. Yeah, so expecting more upside. But it's interesting because you got Bitcoin pushing, potentially going back to all-time highs. It is quite correlated with the NASDAQ and with the S&P as well, as of late anyway, as the NASDAQ has continued to push in a trend and see all-time highs and continue higher. So has Bitcoin. But the key thing is that NAS had a really big drop, and Bitcoin didn't have much of a drop as well. Bitcoin's already recovered most of that and almost back at all-time highs. NAS has still got a long way to go if that's going to happen. But it's a big thing because it looks like people are more confident with Bitcoin now and happy to park their money there as well. And again, that's a reason why we could still see higher price with Bitcoin there too. In terms of some of the other indices, the DAX, I think that's already smashed into the highs, hasn't it? Probably seeing new highs now as well. So yeah, still pushing. FTSE. Okay, this one's rallied pretty well. Yeah, the way it's rallied as well with this one, probably going to keep pushing back to all-time highs as well. So it is looking pretty bullish for the indices, but I would still argue be cautious. Be cautious as we come back into this area. For NASDAQ, for the S&P, these are dangerous areas where we could turn around for whatever reason. But if you do rally through, see a strong close above, get above the 200 well, then yeah, we'll probably push on. King Kong. Put my TP for pound Aussie at 2.08751. Okay. I will take a look. Jay Huntley didn't know that BTC correlated with NAS, but thanks for letting me know about that. No problem. Yeah, I mean, a correlation is more of a newer correlation. They haven't always been correlated, but I think the past maybe 2-3 years they've been a bit more correlated as of late. In fact, if I could, how do I do it again? There we go. BTC USD. Okay, so this doesn't really have a good representation of it. Yeah, it doesn't show it too well, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, of course, the white graph there. Let me get rid of the white graph there is the NASDAQ. The pink line there is Bitcoin. So you can see as we dip there, we kind of do the same thing. And then we slowly kind of push to the upside as well. Although Bitcoin's a bit more aggressive as well when it rallies. But you can see when we had the dip there for BTC, we kind of had the dip at the same time there for NAS. Now that NAS is recovering, so BTC is recovering as well. But not the best kind of graph to show it, to be honest. But yeah, they are positively correlated. What should we watch this for next week? Good question. So at the moment, I'm going to do my watch list on the weekend, but I kind of have a rough idea of what I'm looking to trade for next week. So at the top of the list would be GJ, shorts on pound yen, looking to see what we can do at that high there. If we smash into that, reject it, looking for signs of reversal, then I'm in the trade. So pound yen is probably the top of the list. And of course, Euro Yen, looking to see if I can enter that position again. Basically just looking to short at the high here, as long as price doesn't take up the high there. I'm looking for a big swing, so the shorts on Euro Yen stay valid and looking for that double top similar to £2 Yen as well. New Zealand CAD, looking for some buys for this one as well. As we come back into support, looking to see if we can reject the lows here. Again, the reason why I like New Zealand CAD a lot is because we had a very big drop and followed by a very big recovery as well, giving us that V-shaped pattern. From my experience, V-shaped patterns have a pretty good success rate of playing out, especially in the right areas. So I do expect New Zealand CAD to rally to the upside at some point here. And as we approach the lows, I would expect us to double bottom here and push up. We've got some nice confidence running through the market with the trend line support level there too. So to me, New Zealand CAD is looking like a really nice buy. New Zealand CHF, I'm also liking the buys with this one as well. So looking at a double bottom really, if we can push back down into support there, 0.486, looking for a double bottom to continue to the upside. The expectation with New Zealand CHF is that we're coming from all-time lows. I do expect us to push up now and have a bit of a recovery of that. Nothing crazy, kind of just looking for us to push back into this kind of supply area where all that momentum came from. I mean, at least the resistance here, but if we can get there, great. And yeah, looking to book profits there. That's pretty much it, to be honest. Again, things can change, and I'll probably have I will have a complete rundown of the pairs on the weekend, so there might be one or two I'm missing, but those are the ones I'm keen to trade, at least off of this week, which haven't quite set up yet. So by default, they will carry on into next week as long as they're valid, which they are. Yeah, a lot of the crosses I'm not really interested in. USD, again, there's quite a few USD pairs, to be honest. Actually, I forgot about the USD pairs. USD CAD shorts, I like the idea of shorting this one, but again, it's still quite a while away, so it's not that it might not even set up next week. Aussie dollar longs pull back there, looking for a buy. New Zealand dollar is actually not too far away, looking for a pullback here for a buy as well. And Euro USD buys as well, looking for a pullback into these areas for some longs too. So buys there as well. What's my take on WorldCoin? I don't know what that is. I don't know what WorldCoin is. Waiting your weekend analysis. Yeah, that'll be out on Saturday. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. Of course, again, the key thing with analysis on the weekend, and why I like doing on the weekend as well, especially for my trading style, is because the markets are closed and there's just no kind of emotion involved. It's kind of just calm weekend. You can do it in your own time, no rush to it, and you can go through as many markets or whatever markets you look at and have a clear head as well. And you can just kind of delete price action and not price action, sorry, but delete your analysis. So when the weekend comes, I would just right click, remove my drawings, get rid of everything and start again fresh to look at everything for the first time again to a degree. Because sometimes you might have a bias, you expect price to do something, but you kind of ignore warning signs for it. Sometimes just getting rid of all your analysis and starting again fresh, you might spot things you might have missed before. So yeah, every weekend, Saturday morning, we'll look through the analysis and all the pairs I look at, which is roughly about 32 now. So 32 different markets, doesn't take too long. Probably about probably say no more than 2 hours, which again is not that big of a deal, especially when you kind of know what you're looking for as well. It's just top-down analysis. Most of the time I'll start on the weekly chart. Maybe if the weekly is looking messy, I'll probably start on the monthly. But weekly, daily chart, just to get the bias, and then 4 hours to look for areas that I want to buy from. Most pairs, to be honest, I'll go through and they just don't look good to me. So the analysis will be pretty quick. I'll probably spend about 5 minutes and just move on straight away if nothing's looking clear. or potentially the setup might be maybe 2 or 3 weeks away. Well, then again, there's nothing for me to do with that one for next week, so I'll quickly discard it, move on to the next one. But roughly I'll probably have between 4 to kind of 8 or 9 pairs a week, which I'm looking to trade, which potentially a setup could form. And then on average, probably maybe 2 of them will actually set up for the upcoming week. But of course, maybe sometimes all 8 of them will set up and sometimes none as well. But probably on average, about 2 of them will probably set up. And yeah, that's just kind of my routine in terms of coming to the week fresh, analyzing charts, making sure I know what I'm looking to trade. Because if you are going to trade a lot of markets, you don't want to be analyzing all of those markets every morning, because that would be a bit of a pain and you'd be a bit all over the shop because this one's moving, this one's doing that, this one's doing that. So there's no kind of organization, and you could end up over trading quite easily. Could you do a small analysis on gold? Small analysis. What do you mean by that? Do you mean on the smaller time frames or? Yeah, I'm not too sure what you mean by small analysis, but in terms of gold itself, yeah, I'm still pretty bullish on it. It's just I'm not very keen on the areas which price is trading at right now. Again, where I derive my buys from is on the higher time frames, which is still very bullish. There's no kind of big warning signs for gold that say we're going to roll over. Yes, we're kind of fading at highs right now, but again, that's not a sign of reversal either. That's just a sign of the market tiring. Until we start to break through some key lows, that's when I'll start to really, okay, gold is probably going to short from there. So for me, gold is still pretty bullish. 32.20 still looks really attractive for a buy. We were here last time, nice rally. I think if price gets there again, nice and slow, there could be a really big double bottom on the cards. If that doesn't hold, then we do have this zone just below us here at 31.60, which looks pretty good to me as well. Clean break, price never came back for the retest, so I still like the looks of that one for a buy. But overall, very, very bullish on gold. And as price comes back to these areas, I would entertain some setups. Where we are right now, I think we're in the middle of nowhere, really. So I would definitely hold back from looking to buy. I think maybe on the intraday level, there might actually be some nice shorts here because we've got some healthy bearish structure. So perhaps another kind of maybe fake to the upside. That might be a nice short perhaps this afternoon. But from a buyer standpoint, I'd wait for some lower prices before entertaining a buy. Do you look at Bitcoin? Yes, I do look at Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin. But I do keep up to date with Bitcoin's analysis. Of course, if you want me to look at a particular time frame, let me know as well. So if there is a time frame you do want my thoughts and opinions on, let me know. But most of the time, my analysis would just be on the 4-hour chart. Boom, let's wait for a buy trade. Are you talking about gold, Samuel? Because that's what I would be doing for gold as well. I think intraday shorts look good, but I don't trade intraday, so I'm more fixated on the buys here. So yeah, 32.20, 31.60 I think looks good for a buy. I do think, of course, gold's going to have a big drop, so I'm always being a bit cautious of that because gold's not going to be bullish forever. Right now, we're in a clear bullish cycle right now. We're in, one of these periods. Of course, this was a colossal move since the low over here back in 1999. We didn't top out until 2011, so that is a pretty insane bull run. Then we had this bearish phase here, which bottomed out in 2015. Then we had another big bull run here, which you could argue is still in play right now. You could argue that we probably stopped there and then recycled there, but it was more of a consolidation rather than the push back down. I'll say we're still probably at this same bullish cycle right now. So that started in 2015. It's been about a decade. So you could probably argue that one of these moves is probably on the cards pretty soon. Took us a decade to see that rally. It's been about a decade to see this rally. Could, again, not necessarily now. It could still go on for another maybe year or two. But sooner or later, gold is going to have that bigger correction. But then again, expect higher prices. But yeah, very, very bullish stuff for gold right now. So I'm going to keep buying up forever. But again, until proven otherwise, I'll just keep looking at the buys, to be honest. There's no signs of any big selling pressure coming in. So as we push lower, I think picking up some longs that make the best sense. Louis, what's your advice on the ones who are beginning the trading journey? I think the biggest advice I could say is I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I think the best way to tackle trading as a beginner is that strategy is important, but it's not the most important thing. You can make a load of money trading very, very simple theories, and talking about technical analysis. Very, very simple strategies, but you have to trade them well. So as a beginner, I would say whatever type of style, trading style you look to adopt, look to learn, stick with that and get really good at that. Because I think looking back at my journey, and I think just knowing other traders as well, I think you just waste so much time by looking at other strategies and think, oh, their strategy looks really good. Maybe I should go and learn that. Oh, his strategy looks good. Let me go learn that. You waste so much time doing that. When being good at trading is not knowing the best strategy. Being good at trading is knowing whatever strategy you're trading very, very well. And it could be something very, very, very simple. So my biggest advice is don't get this shiny object syndrome with different strategies and keep jumping from different strategies. I know it's a very simple tip, but it is crucial because it could speed up your journey by 2-3 years potentially. And I mean that very, very seriously, because if you just keep jumping, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you focus, record your trades, journal your trades, and within 12 months, you could be in a very, very good place. Not that you'll be an expert, but you could probably be looking at profitability, to be honest, within a year, and have a lot of confidence with your trading as well. And then, of course, if you want to change things up, learn a new strategy, then you can do that because you've got that solid foundation. But as a beginner, the worst thing to do is spend 2, 4, 6 months learning a strategy, then change again, then a new few months, then change again. That's the worst thing you can do. So if you can just prevail with a strategy, you would be so much better for it, trust me. That's one thing I look back and I wish I did. Please, I'm looking to buy GJ 192 740 level. What's your thoughts, please? Okay, I'll take a look. I'm pretty bearish on GJ, so probably not gonna like my analysis, but I'll take a look. Kenton, no problem, happy to help. Tell the chat after making a few successful trades they should stay humble. Yesterday I was taught hard way, almost blew the account from 350 to about 6k in equity. Wow. Well, I think you've got the message across with that chat there, Kenton. But yeah, I mean, again, that's trading for you as well. That's why trading is so difficult, because it's not necessarily that it's the fact that we trip ourselves up, because I've done that as well. I've been overly confident as well, and then looked to up risk, and then things go wrong. I think most people do that when they start to find some success, will up the risk, because who doesn't want to make more money? If you're doing well, why not really capitalize on that? But you get humbled very quickly. And if you haven't been humbled yet, you will be soon. So yeah, that's a very, very important lesson to learn about staying humble and focusing on your risk as well, and focusing on staying consistent. There's nothing wrong with upping risk, but you have to do it being prepared that, okay, up in risk means I can lose a lot more money. How much money could you lose? If that is sensible, it's within your risk limits, you can cope with the drawdown, then of course you can increase risk. Increasing risk is not bad, but if you increase it too much and be stupid with it, of course, that's when the bad things happen. And yeah, that's a big lesson in itself as well. You know, you could be a very, very good trader, but you get too overly confident and you get absolutely slaughtered. And then it's not necessarily your trading which is the issue, it's just that you got a bit too overly confident. So yeah, that is a big part of trading as well. Just greed is fearful, but greed is fearful. Greed is a really kind of difficult emotion to battle in trading, but so is fear as well. Fear is a big one too. But anyway, yeah, for GJ, like I said, I'm very bullish. I'm very bearish on this one. Get my words opposite today. What's going on? I'm very bearish on this one. You say you're looking to buy from 192, 400, 740, 192, 740. Okay, that's pretty much where price is right now. I mean, what's the idea of the trade? What's your target? What's your stop loss? Entry is just a very, fickle thing. It doesn't really mean too much. An entry is great, but where's your stop loss? Where's your targets? That builds the picture. So where you're looking to take the trade to? If you're looking to take the trade back to resistance here, then I think you're onto something there. Because in terms of momentum, I would expect us to push down. We haven't seen much momentum from the bears either, so I would kind of expect us to rally back to resistance. If you're looking for a push, let's say back to the highs here, well, you're being a bit overly confident in that position. I probably would suggest locking in some gains as we get here. I mean, there's nothing wrong targeting here, but understand that there is some resistance which could take price against you there. So I think the smart move would be locking in some gains around that area. So yeah, it depends on your stop loss, depends on your targets. But in terms of if you're looking at intraday trade, I think, yeah, that makes some sense there. If you're looking target resistance, I think that's a decent idea. Excuse me. Which are some of the best strategies you advise me to go for? Well, again, like I said, the strategy is not important. Pretty much all strategies are profitable if it's got a fundamental correct idea about it. You can look at breakout strategies, you can look at swing strategies, you can look at strategies for an intraday session, you can look at strategies for mean reversion, you can look at strategies for strategies to catch gap fills. There's many strategies you can go for. I think the best kind of way to tackle trading, especially FX, nothing too complicated, is going for a more kind of confluence-based strategy and looking to follow trends. You know, if you've got a trend in the market which is seeing higher highs and higher lows, well, a simple strategy is to try and catch the next higher low to take it back up again. And there's a million reasons or strategies to try and capitalize on that swing. You can look at trend lines, you can look at support, you can look at demand areas, you can look at potentially double bottoms, you can look at channels, you can look at fib levels, you can look at moving averages, you can look at RSI. There's so many different strategies and techniques to use to anticipate swing lows forming. I think a good way of doing it is just trend lines and support and resistance. That's one of the strategies that I focus on a lot in terms of, okay, if I've got a swing in the market, well, a good metric to gauge where that next swing could form is if we can get some resistance in line with a trend line. Because not only do we have diagonal resistance, we've also got horizontal support and resistance. And trading from those areas can be pretty powerful as well. And then, of course, your expectation that if this is going to be a lower high, well, your target will be back at the low. So that's the idea of the trade. You're trying to capitalize on trends. You're trying to predict the next swing high or the next swing low if you're buying. and your expectation is that the trend's going to continue back to the low, that's where you take your targets. And why this is a good strategy is because normally the reward is a lot more than the risk. This could be 2R, this could be 8R potentially. Depends how big the swing is. So the risk reward is a lot higher, which means you don't have to have a particularly high win rate. It's a nice area to put a stop loss. You can refine risk pretty well. It works on numerous time frames too. And it allows you to trade a lot of different markets, indices, FX, commodities, metals, you name it. It's a pattern that does happen quite frequently. So and I still look at it to this day. So I would say that's a good setup to try and learn and try and focus on. But like I said, strategy is not necessarily important. It's your consistency and how well you learn and how well you deploy it in the market. And as a beginner, you can choose whatever strategy really, as long as there's a fundamental approach to it. Like for the strategy I just mentioned, the fundamental approach is that you're looking to capitalize on a swing high, because that's how the market moves. If you zoom out, how does the market move? Well, it moves from high to low, and the idea is that we're trying to capitalize on these swings here, which is a fundamental truth to the market. That's how we move. So as long as you can work out what you're trying to capitalize on, how you're going to get into the market, how you're going to exit and take profit, well, you got yourself a strategy. Then it becomes, how do I get good at it? And that's what your focus is. Okay, if it's targeting the resistance level, I think that makes a lot of sense. So I can second that. I'm looking to short from that resistance level, but of course I'm looking at probably a much different time frame than yourself, and looking for a different type of trade as well. So I'm looking to short from there, but I would say from an intraday point of view, we've got a good chance of getting there. So yeah, I do like that trade from an intraday point of view, but I am still very bearish, looking for a big drop. But yeah, like I said, don't waste your time trying to find the perfect strategy, because number one, it doesn't exist, and two, you're going to waste so much time for it. I think coming into the game, a lot of people think that the person who makes the most money, who's got the best strategy, and that's just not true. There are people with very good strategies but trade very poorly, and there are people with very simple strategies but trade very, very well and make a bunch of money for it. And it comes down to how good of a trader you are yourself. And to become a good trader yourself isn't exclusive to the strategy you trade. The strategy doesn't make the trader makes the strategy. It's the other way around. So to become a good trader, you have to be well disciplined, manage emotions well, be able to make decisions under pressure, and be able to follow a plan and plan a setup well, and be able to make decisions on the spot as well. And all of that will come as you go as a trader, because of course you're not going to have that in the beginning. But the way you get to that stage is by having a method of how you're going to trade the market, and then getting good with that. If you want to find other strategies and test other things, that's all very well and good, and I recommend you do that, but you can do that later on in your journey. Once you've found some consistency, then you can experiment with other things. But strategy is not that important. Of course you need a strategy, but it's not that important. It's not that important, because if you go check out the book, what's it called again? I forget the name. Something Wizards. It's a very, very popular book. Very, very popular. Probably someone in the chat has probably read it. I've got a copy upstairs, I think. Yeah, it's one of the books I read towards the beginning of my journey. And it gave me a very important realization, because there were so many people who were very, very successful at trading and are doing so many different things. Some were very, very focused on fundamentals, market wizards, that's it. Thank you, Lebsy. I don't know why that went in my head. Market wizards, but if you check out that book, very, very good book to read, not because it gives you great information in terms of how you're going to trade, but it shows that different type of traders doing very, very well. Some very, very systematic in terms of having a mechanical strategy. There were some who were very driven by fundamentals and made a ton of money that way. There were some who were very, very zoned in on technicals and didn't look at fundamentals at all and made a bunch of money that way as well. So there is no right way to trade, but each one of them were good traders. And that's kind of what our task is to be. How do you become a very, very good trader? And whether you're doing this strategy or that strategy isn't going to be important. Because if you're a good trader, no matter what strategy you're trading, you're going to be very good anyway. Of course, the strategy, having a good strategy will help, but that will come later. You learn that as you come. So yeah, don't be caught in the chase of trying to find the best strategy, because it's a never-ending chase. I'm still looking to try and find better strategies to trade the market as well, and I think you'd always be on that kind of hunt. But what you want to have already is a strategy which you can use already, and even something like double top, something that I use as well in my trading. Very, very simple. You learn on the first day, but very, very powerful trading pattern if used correctly. Double bottoms, double tops, head and shoulder patterns, very, very powerful patterns if used correctly as well. And they sound very, very simple, almost childlike, but again, if you know what you're doing with them, you can make very, very healthy profits. So that's my biggest advice, I would say. Which again, there's nothing fancy. It's not like a magical tip, like me telling you to go buy this or go do that. But it really is that in any discipline, to be honest. But I think it's the most important thing though, because if you do hop around, you'll waste so much time. And money as well, of course. But time is money. Let me look at the news for next week. We've had a very busy-ish few weeks in the market with news. So yeah, CAD later today. Well, I'm not in any positions anymore, so I'm not really too bothered about the news anymore. I'm still looking to take longs on New Zealand CAD, but it's not quite my entry level just yet, so I have to wait for that to happen. But we do have CAD unemployment rate this afternoon, 1:30 UK time, and rates are expected to go up. So maybe that could be bullish for CAD a little bit. Anyway, for next week, Monday, nothing there really, to be honest. I'm only focusing on that red folder, high impact news. Not really seeing anything there on Monday. Tuesday, pound unemployment rate, that's expected to stay the same. Inflation, CPI for USD, that could be interesting next Tuesday for dollar. That's a big one to keep an eye out for. Wednesday, nothing there really, to be honest. Wednesday's pretty dry. Thursday, unemployment for Aussie, 2:30 in the morning. I'll be asleep, so there's not much I can do there. GDP, pound, that could be interesting as well, but I'm not really too concerned about GDP for pound. Then you got employment rate for euro as well. This is all Thursday. PPI for USD. And GDP for yen on Friday. So yeah, another biggest week in the world in terms of news. I think the biggest one's probably CPI Tuesday for USD. I think I'll keep my eye on that one. Got unemployment rate, GDP for pound, GDP for yen, GDP for euro. Those can of course move the market as well, but you expect the big one to be CPI on the Tuesday. So that's kind of where I'll be interested in. Hopefully we can see some more strength come into the market, because that's all I'm looking at for the dollar. I've been calling for retracement since here, to be fair, which was mid-April. So we've seen some upside. I'm looking for a little bit more, and then I'll be able to start to actually get into some dollar trades, because it's been a while since I've actually stepped into a USD position. Ever since we had this very strong rally, I didn't see the retracements I'm after, so I've stayed away from the USD pairs. Apart from dollar CAD, I did catch a sell on dollar CAD. Yeah, but apart from that, I haven't touched the USD pairs for a while. Probably since the start of the year, actually. So eager to get back into the USD pairs, and a nice little pullback here in Euro would be inviting. Dollar CAD as well, shorts around 1.405 will be good too. Aussie dollar, probably my favorite, to be honest. If I can get a pullback into this area, anywhere around 0.63, 0.62, I'll be happy to find some buys for. Really nice break to the upside. We took out structure there. Now the plan is pullbacks and upside. Something like an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Left head, right shoulder. There's your neckline, sort of. A weird one, but it makes sense. And as the USD, I'm not the biggest, I like it as well, but I'm not as a big a fan of this one as Aussie dollar because of the double top we formed here, which made things a little bit more awkward. I always like it when price has a high, then it retraces from the high, rather than forms a double top or a double bottom, and then retraces from that. Not that we can't continue, but I'd always rather try and find a continuation when things look like this rather than like that. So because of that, Aussie dollar would be my preferred setup there. But then again, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, very, very similar pairs. They do the same thing most of the time. So I don't really have to focus on trying to trade them both anyway, because they'll probably both fail or both work. So there's no need to try and overcomplicate things. But yeah, Aussie dollar is definitely on the watch list as well. And of course, we've got the yen pairs, Euro yen and pound yen. Euro yen, I'll keep an eye for some re-entries up at the high at 164. Things look good, I'll re-enter. I think just because the risk reward looks very, very good, I'm definitely going to turn this one down. Something like that could be as big as a 1 to 10 there. So these are the trades that come maybe once or twice a year. So I'm definitely not going to pass up on that opportunity. As long as it doesn't take up the high here on the left, I'm looking for that short. And GJ as well, looking pretty good too. Not too far off, potentially an entry there, maybe early next week. So looking for a bit more upside, respect the level, get some shorts there, and hopefully a big swing back into the low there. That's also looking like a pretty good risk short opportunity. So again, not looking to turn that down. And New Zealand CHF, I'm still pretty keen on a long here. Perhaps we can roll over early next week, find some entries on this double bottom, and then take it to the upside. If we don't hold the low there, we do break through the support level, and price does break structure, fair enough. At that point, maybe New Zealand CHF is going to keep falling, but I'm still interested in the counter trend move, so that's why I'm still focused on the buys here. But it'll be make or break at the level. That's where I want to buy from, but whether price actually gives us a solid rejection or not, that's up to price at the end of the day. So we'll make that decision when it actually comes to that level. And then New Zealand CAD, which again, looking for that double bottom for the buy. Not too far away, so maybe an entry today if we can speed things up a little bit, but probably not, because from about maybe 5 p.m. I'm expecting momentum in the market just to drop quite a lot, and I'll only get one more candle close for the 4-hour chart before that happens, which is at 2 o'clock, which is the current candle. So yeah, this is probably a setup for next week as well. But yeah, New Zealand CAD, definitely something I'm interested in for some buys as well. And that's really the pairs I'm after. Crosses I'm not really a big fan of at the moment. Euro pound, not a fan of. Aussie New Zealand dollar, not a fan of. Other CHF pairs not really shaping up well. And not really interested in shorting other yen pairs. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And it does take us to the end of the stream. People, if you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. If you have found it useful, enjoyed the content, found it informative, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, link in the description to that. You can join the community, share ideas, share setups you're looking to trade. I share ideas I'm looking to trade there, so do other people. So if you want to join the community, chat about different opportunities and just general trading conversation, join the Discord, links in the description, free to join. Also the links up the top of the chat, so you definitely can't miss it. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in for another week of the streams. I will be live again next week, same time as always, Monday to Friday. I've been away for the past few days actually, but back to normal, back on the streams again. So look out for them, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. But guys, have a great day. Again, analysis on the weekend, look out for that. That's just where I'll recap the week's price action on a few pairs and then share some of the pairs I'm looking to trade as well. So look out for that as well. That'll be tomorrow, Saturday. But yeah, cheers guys. Have a great weekend and I'll catch you all in the next one.